Yeah, it's the Feast of the Cross. Okay, so it's a 3-day feast, and it takes place twice per year. So 3 days in September. When's the other time? Anybody know?
March, 19 March.
Exactly, in March. Okay, it's always during Lent. The March feast is a 1-day feast. This is a 3-day feast. Does anyone know what we are actually celebrating historically in March versus this one? So we're celebrating a couple of different things. First, okay, we talk a lot about what saints are mentioned in Feast of the Cross a lot.
Saint Constantine.
Constantine and Saint Helen. Okay, very good. So Constantine, and who was Helen?
His mother.
His mother. Okay, very good. So Constantine was the emperor who made a big difference in the world. Changed the entire world. Like everybody in the world knows King Constantine because he did what to Christianity? He was the first one who made it a legalized religion. Before him, Christianity was illegal. And that's why there was so much persecution. He was the first one that said it could be legal. And eventually, okay, he himself became a Christian. Okay, but that wasn't his first move. The first move was to make it Christian. And the reason why he made it Christian, why he allowed Christianity, is because the most important reason is because his mom had been praying for him for years and years and years and years and years. And then finally God gave him a sign. Okay, he was going off to war, and then God gave him a sign in the sky. It was a sign of a cross and said, by this sign, you will conquer. Okay, by this sign you will conquer. Okay, and he legalized Christianity, and then he became, okay, then he conquered and won many victories. So we take that, with this sign you will conquer, and we believe the same thing. But just the difference is our conquer is not with guns and wars and cannons and things like that. With this sign you will conquer, meaning we will conquer life. We will conquer the enemy. We'll conquer everything the devil throws at us. So the question that I want to ask you is, as we look at the cross, I would bet that everybody, maybe not everybody, most of us are probably wearing a cross around our neck. Okay? Many of us may have a cross tattooed. Okay? For sure, I know you have a cross in your car. Everyone knows that's the first thing you do. You put a cross in your car, okay? And you put one in your house, and the cross is everywhere. But my question to you is that what Christianity is all about? The cross, let me say it better. Is that what the cross is all about? We hang it, we look at it, we kiss it, we wear it, we tattoo it, we make it, and is that where the power of the cross is? No. All those things are good. I'm not saying not to do them. But all of those things are secondary. What's the most important thing we do with our cross? Okay, do the sign of the cross is good, but there's something more important than do the sign of the cross. Okay? Pray. Okay? Specifically with the cross. You are okay, how about this? Jesus commanded you. Did Jesus command you to wear the cross?
No.
Did Jesus command you to make the sign of the cross?
No.
Did Jesus command you to put a cross in your car?
Oh, live by the cross.
Live by the cross, close. Okay, that's the right direction. What did Jesus command? Exactly. Jesus commanded us to carry the cross. He didn't command us, like what I don't want the cross to be is a good luck charm. Okay, and that's what it is. Like you see like the guy scores a touchdown and he does like this, okay? And so that's like a really cool thing, but then his life outside may be whatever. Or I remember one time I was going to, I think it was like a FedEx or a Kinko's or whatever it was, and the guy was like the guy was like a college kid or whatever it is, and I walked in and he's like, cool cross, man. And I'm like, thank you. And he's like, where'd you get it from? I'm like, I got it from Pope Shenouda. And he's like, can you get me one? And I'm like, no, can't get you that. But my point is that what the cross is? Like, is the cross just the rabbit's foot? Like a good luck charm? Is that all the cross is?
No.
Well, my fear is that's what we end up making it. When we do everything with the cross except the most important thing that Jesus said, which is to carry it. So the question for us is, Jesus commands us. Again, he does not command us to make the sign of the cross. We should. He does not command us to hang the cross. We should. I'm not saying we shouldn't. But he commands us very clearly to carry the cross. My question is, what does that mean for you? What does it mean to carry your cross? Go ahead.
So suffering a lot of pain in our life.
Okay. So suffering a lot of pain in our life. I agree and disagree with the definition. I agree and disagree. Why? Go ahead.
Because you don't technically, we don't suffer anymore, but we can suffer in our heart, like to Jesus, like praying to him.
Okay.
Without, like, giving all this stuff to the poor, like the Syrians did, but not, like, shed our blood.
Okay, it's a very thorough answer. Thank you very much. Okay. Okay. Go
I
ahead.
was just going to say, the goal is not the suffering,
Okay.
but suffering comes as a result.
Okay, very good. That's a very good answer. The goal is not the suffering. The goal is what? Suffering is a byproduct, is a result, but it's not the goal. In other words, the goal is not to say, I'm going to be as miserable as I can in life. And God's goal, just so you know, is not to make you miserable. Sometimes we think that. That's something maybe we pulled in. Okay, that's not us. It's not us to say, God just wants us to suffer and miserable, and then he'll reward us in the end. That's not. The most important thing with the cross was the cross enforced upon Jesus. Was the cross forced upon Jesus?
No.
That's the problem with, that's why I said I agree and I disagree. Because when we talk about suffering, we usually talk about suffering that's forced upon us. We have no choice. Okay, that's my cross. So I got this sickness or whatever it may be, and that's my cross. And I'm not saying anything about that. But all I'm saying is, I think you might be missing the picture of the cross if that's what you limit it to. I'm not saying that can't be your cross, but you limit the cross. Because if I'm fully healthy, I have a cross to carry. And if like sometimes people say, like, my wife is my cross or my husband is my cross. If I have a happy marriage, I should have a cross and a happy marriage, right? Like, it's not like happy or cross. No, I have a happy marriage, I should have a cross. The cross has nothing to do with stuff that is forced upon us. Jesus himself said, no one takes my life from me. Okay? I lay down my life. No man takes my life from me. He lays down his life. What the cross is in the end, the cross is a death, okay, like my man said right here, without blood. It's a death without blood. And it's a death in small things. Believe it or not, the cross that Jesus carried was not just on Good Friday. I'll just say my opinion, just my opinion. I'm not saying a theology here. My opinion, the Good Friday cross actually wasn't the hardest cross. I think the cross of 33 years was the hard cross. And I think at the end, this is what St. Paul says in Hebrews. He says, actually, when he saw the cross set before him, he said, the joy that was set before him. That's what it says. It says, we should look unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and has sat down at the right hand of the Father. So when Jesus saw the cross, he didn't see pain and suffering. He saw joy. But the joy required some suffering. But the joy was that his race was about to be done. The real cross, in my opinion, the real cross was every day on this earth that God, St. Paul talks about, he became like us, okay, servant, okay, and took the form of men, became like us. Every single day, Jesus died to himself. Because what he wanted to do, what I would want to do if I'm Jesus, I would want to say, everybody here, get up, I'm God, you go over there. What Jesus wanted to say is, I'm not going to wash your feet, you wash my feet, I'm God. And he had a right to say that. What Jesus would want to say is, I'm sick and tired of being poor and having no place to lay my head. I'm just going to, like, if I can make 5 loaves and 2 fish, I can make a waterbed. Boom, waterbed. And I'm going to sleep on that. Jesus could have done that. Could he have done that? Of course he could have done that. Those Pharisees were giving him a hard time. He could have just zapped them if he wanted. But every day, Jesus carried his cross, which means what? Every day, he controlled himself. He died every day. He died every day. He died every day with no blood. Eventually, he shed his blood. And eventually, we will too. But that's not, you are watering down the cross if you limit it only to the final act of Jesus' life. Every single day that Jesus was on this earth, he carried his cross. And I think we are called to carry the cross every single day too. What that means is, for example, when I come home from work and I'm tired and I'm grumpy, I have a choice. I come home and serve my family, or I wait for my family to serve me. That's carry your cross. You realize that's carry? You realize sometimes, gentlemen, to carry the cross is just take out the trash. There's carry your cross. It's help with the dishes. Ladies, sometimes the carry the cross is as simple as when your child and you want to, okay, to the child. Sometimes it's just simply taking 5, being patient, being kind, being loving. That's carry your cross. Because carry your cross is always connected with another phrase. Okay, carry your cross and blank yourself. Deny yourself. Which means, deny yourself means I want A, but I will do B. So right now, I want a hamburger, but I will deny myself. I'll have a veggie burger. Right now, I want to yell, but I will deny myself. I will be patient. Right now, what I want is to do nothing. I just want to relax. But somebody needs me, like these guys who were here doing this thing. It's Friday night. All I want to do is just relax. No, but deny myself means go fix that whatever cabinet or desk or whatever that looks like. Okay, it's beautiful, okay? That's what deny myself means. It's the little decisions that Jesus carried his cross every single day for 33 years. And then eventually, he hung on a cross. But you would be limiting it severely if that's all you think of. And ladies and gentlemen, whether you realize it or not, remember how we started this? By this sign you will conquer. That's what King Constantine. By this sign you will conquer. By this sign you will conquer. It's by carrying your cross every single day, dying every single day. That's how you will win at life. That's how you will win at life. And I'll give you a verse. Okay, y'all going to memorize this verse. One of the best verses is 1 Corinthians 1:25. 1 Corinthians 1:25. What book is in the Bible is it? 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 25. That whole passage, okay, on the Feast of the Cross, we read that in the Pauline epistle. And that talks about how God did everything through the cross and turned the world upside down. And you're going to repeat after me. Okay, after talking about the cross, okay, and the cross is about how God, who is strong, looked very weak on a cross. Okay, let's look at this one right here. Okay, right here, he looks very weak. This looks weak. This does not look strong, right? This looks very weak. This is death. And everyone's laughing at him. They're making fun of him. They're talking about how Jesus flipped everything upside down. What we thought was strong was weak, and what we thought was weak was strong. So here's the verse. Repeat after me. The foolishness of God, is wiser than men. That's a good one. Again, the foolishness of God, is wiser than men. What does that mean? That means that God, when he does something, you're like, God, that's foolish. No, really, that's wise. It's foolish to die. Like, you're coming to save people? Be strong. What you're doing, Jesus, is foolish. No, the foolishness of God is what? The rest of the verse. And the weakness of God, is stronger than men. The foolishness of God is wiser than men. And the weakness of God is stronger than men. You remember that next time you're at the office and the bad guys are winning, and you know what Jesus wants you to do is just keep your mouth shut. And everyone around you say, that's foolish. They're going to take advantage of you. You say, I know it's foolish, but the foolishness of God is wiser than men. You think about that next time where you are at home and you want to fight because someone whatever, and you don't want to be weak. You remember, the weakness of God is actually stronger than men. You can be strong, but then you'll be weak. But you can be weak, then you'll be strong. And the true strength and the true victory is from the one who understands this concept. King Constantine, by this sign you will conquer. By this sign you will conquer. That's King Constantine, and that's all of us. But again, for us, it's not conquer bows and arrows and guns and whatnot. By this sign you will conquer, because the path to victory is always the path of humility. It's always the path to death, path of death, but it's a daily death. Okay? Like even like when you look at the martyrs and we look at how, that's great, but I'm telling you, like St. Mary. St. Mary was not martyred, but every single day St. Mary died. Okay, being pregnant at a young age, riding on that donkey, going to spend the first couple years of her life in Egypt and raising the baby and then coming over here. Every single day she died. Okay? You guys are St. Abraam right here. St. Abraam didn't die a martyr's death. Okay, but he died every day because someone gave him $1, he gave $1.10. How does that work? He died. Okay, every day he was dying himself, and that's the, everyone here that you put up here, okay, you put anyone up here on this iconostasis up here, every single one of them. It was not one great act that they did. It was a daily death that eventually accumulates and adds up, and that's what our calling is. So make the sign of the cross, absolutely. Tattoo it, more power to you if you want. Put it in your car, absolutely. But all of that is nothing unless what's inside is I carry the cross daily. The rest of it is just window dressing. Okay, it's exactly like having a building with very nice windows. Wow, and you have the parking spot, and you come inside and there's nothing inside. So this church is beautiful, not because what's outside, because what's inside. Okay, so if the outside is beautiful and diamonds and gold and whatnot, but the inside there's nobody people and there's spiders and cobwebs, that's what I don't want us to be. Okay, we make the sign of the cross, we kiss the cross, but most important, we carry the cross. Glory be to God forever. Amen.